Caddis Maximus here, this time with a quick review of the Titan Master 1/4 inch drive or 1/4 inch and 10mm drive hex and star bit sets. We have both these in hand drive or standard drive as well as impact rated. These are sold under various brands such as Titan, PowerBuilt, some other house brands. I found these at O'Reilly's and at AutoZone. And there's a variety of hex bit sets sold that are 1/4 inch hex to various hex socket head cap screw size, and they've always been handy. But most times when you find these sets, they cover a good range on the small size, but since they're always 1/4 inch hex, it's always harder to find these larger ones. And another reason I bought these is because these actually have a 7mm hex, and to tell you the truth, I have never in my life run into a 7mm socket head cap screw or hex at all, but it's made, so I'm sure I'll run into one at some point. But I thought, well, that's interesting because out of all these bit sets, and I have a ton of them, never seen a 7mm, never seen a 7mm Allen wrench, although I have an 11mm. Anyway, what's also interesting about these sets is that they're actual 1/4 inch drive hex, and they include a 1/4 inch drive to hex adapter, and it's indeed 1/4 inch. There you go. But on the larger sizes, they're all 10mm drive. So 3/8 square to 10mm. What is interesting is this is fluted, so this is just like a 10mm socket that they put a ball detent in. Another thing I was going to point out is it's exactly the same socket on the impact rated ones. So I thought that was just a little bit cheesy because you're going to rate these for impact, and they're to be so much, not just the font and the sizing, they're exactly the same die, but they're also both chrome vanadium. So I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. They just, if anything, changed the heat treatment and, of course, the finish that they used on these. So these sets are 11 drive pieces with 2 adapters for 13 pieces. So we do have all the sets that they make. We have the 3 hand drive or non-impact rated sets, as well as the metric and imperial or metric and fractional impact. They didn't have any of the impact stars in stock when I was looking at these. But between these 5 sets, you would have 65 pieces, which is quite a bit. I did want to point out, even though the driver adapters are the same, the impact ones, they do have these little cutouts. I think it's to make it simulate kind of a torque or a flex neck, kind of like what DeWalt and all the other heavy-duty power tool manufacturers are doing, is that little flex area. And so, but I think this is more for looks rather than actual function. And I did want to point out here, actually, on the Imperial ones, is since it is a 10mm drive, they do include a large 7/16 hex drive, but it is actually has one side machined down to 10mm. So if there's any that was going to fail, it would probably be this one the most, just because you have a smaller drive than the size of the socket that you're attempting to turn. Another thing about these impact ones is an attempt to hit a particular price point. They don't have magnets, and what I mean is in the base of these hand drive ones, they included magnets. Well, maybe this way. So they have magnets inside there, so you can attach them to the side of the toolbox. They're not particularly strong, but I thought that was quite handy. Was actually a little disappointed that when I saw these impact ones that they did not have the magnets integrated. I have a lot of hex drive tools, and Allen wrenches and L wrenches are pretty handy, but some of the issues you have with them is they only fit in so many situations, and sometimes they're really not that convenient. So the great thing about these is you can just pop these out and put them in a little ratchet like this, or use the adapter and use any of your 1/4 inch drive tools, or a specialty ratchet like this, and so you can fit into super compact spaces. It's really great on bicycles, etc. You can get the fastener loose and then go ahead and put it in a hand driver like this, and then spin it out nice and easily. And of course, over a set of Allen wrenches, they allow you to do even more versatile things because you have access to the whole world of 1/4 inch hex drive tools and accessories, such as this isn't a right angle, this is like a 75 degree or a 15 degree driver, and now you can use a 1/4 inch hex bit in a huge variety of situations. To tell you the truth, I've used this situation with a little bit of an extension. and you use one set of tools to break the hex, because a lot of Volkswagens have socket head cap screws holding on the intake manifolds, and they can get real stuck. But this way you can just break the fastener and then get in there and just spin it out, or even use an impact driver or something like that. And in those situations, it's just saves you a ton of time. So really recommended getting these bit sets. Once you get used to them, they're just super handy, and then you can carry around a whole bag of Allen wrenches in just a little tiny set. Anyway, that's about the end of the review in comparison. There's a quick zoom out of these Titan, PowerBuilt, etc. I would call master 1/4 inch and 10 millimeter hex and store drive sets. I think these things were running about $10 or something a piece. You can find coupons, and over time you can build up several sets and then have really a nice master array. And what's nice about impacts and hand ones is that you can kind of use impacts for some of the heavier duty stuff, hand ones for lighter duty stuff, and that way you're not just totally wearing down and having to worry about warranty replacing and dealing with just worn out tools when you have more tools that you offset the wear on. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Please subscribe. Catus Maximus out.